Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, and this is week or episode 23 of the Diary of a Trainee PWP in the life, some of the experiences that I've been going through as a trainee PWP. We are very close to 6 months, so this is week 23. I've got literally two tables in this room, so usually it's on that side. Thought I'd give this a try, a bit of a shot, and let me know if you like the background. I've got the light over here, another light over here, and I'm still trying to set up this place to create more quality in the videos. What has been going on this week? July has been so far, we're in mid-July. It's been a hectic month, and I think it's one of the hectic months. This is literally tomorrow, for instance, we have our final day at uni. So we break off for the first term, and then we're back in September for teaching, but we continue working. And I am actually planning to be going on my annual leave very soon, in 2 weeks' time. Literally, I'm flying out 2 weeks from today, back to Oman for 2 weeks, and then back. But yeah, this has just been a hectic month. And this week, just a couple of hours ago today, I managed to submit my summative treatment recording. So we submitted something before called a formative, which was getting ourselves into the habit of, we're being sort of marked on our treatment. So the previous one is not counted towards the final mark, but this one is. And this one's like, more serious. It's just been very difficult. Me and the number of trainees, we've been struggling. Finding the right tape, trying to meet the marking criteria to the best, just to make sure that we're ticking all the boxes. And it's just been difficult because I've had cancellations. We've all, experienced similar things, whether it be cancellations, people postponing, people dropping out. I've had 2 people sort of drop out. Some people you have to discharge. Some people are not showing up anymore, not attending. And then you have those, this is holiday season, and many people are going on holiday and traveling. So people have had to make certain changes. So when you think that you've got your sets, you have a set of sessions and appointments, you're like, okay, I'm definitely gonna have a good number of options. It doesn't really turn out that way. But fortunately, alhamdulillah, I thank God that I managed to get a really good recording. And I managed to get a good recording where my supervisor has noticed, and he can see based on his feedback, what he told me in supervision was he's noticed that there are some positive change, there are some progress compared to the previous one. There's progress, there's improvement, there's still areas for development, but there is improvement. There are areas that I've improved in, which I'm very happy to hear, and I can even see that in myself. So that was submitted today. A lot been going on. So just the caseload is piling up, it's starting to increase. I think what it is that I'm trying to spread the 3 days that I have. So the 3 days of treatment, trying to spread them out, trying to balance it and get them a bit equal, so that I don't, because I've experienced this, especially on a Friday, where I feel like I've got so many different things and back-to-backs, and it's not easy. So the idea is, although we're dealing with a heavy or a high volume, it's part of the job, but it is good to find certain balances and taking breaks in between to have that time, not just back-to-backs, because I literally experienced that on Wednesday. Let me go through the week day by day. So Monday was interesting because I actually thought Monday we're going to touch on like something called cognitive restructuring, where we deal with the thoughts, the negative automatic thoughts. Turns out that's going to be tomorrow, or this last teaching day. But what we went through this week was, we started with physical activity and exercise, as well as lifestyle interventions. So we had an interesting lecturer who is a high intensity CBT therapist. He's also a personal trainer. He looked like very, very he looked like he's someone who's into gymming and is into fitness a lot. So he's a personal trainer as well, and he talked a lot about physical activity and exercise, and the evidences that have shown that exercise and physical activity can be a standalone treatment to treat depression, and why lifestyle is very, very an important factor. Also considering when we are working with people who have long-term health conditions, so or people might have certain physical health issues at times, and how to use motivational interviewing in our sessions in step 2. And I remember in the break I actually asked him, look, I've done a course literally on motivational interviewing about 2 years ago in healthcare, and I'm loving it. It's absolutely amazing. For those who don't know, because I asked him the question, how do we apply at step 2? And he said, that's what I'm going to cover in the next, after that, we usually have a short break. It's like, I'm going to cover that in the next part. And he did very well, how we can actually sort of like integrate and use the MI motivational interviewing skills in our sessions. Now, what is motivation interviewing? It is a psychological intervention that is used to evoke and elicit behavior changes. How do we motivate people to make certain changes, particularly when it comes to health, mental health, behavior change? This was developed in the 1980s by two psychologists from two different sides, two different ends of the world. One from the USA and the other one from Australia. They initially began and they developed this particular psychological intervention for people who were suffering from alcohol and substance abuse. This was back in the 1980s. Because they found that a lot of people were struggling to, how do they change? How are they motivated to make that change of stopping, to quit smoking, to quit drugs, to quit, alcohol as well, which is very, very difficult. And now, since then until now, it's been expanded to different industries. It's now being used highly in healthcare. It's being used for mental health problems such as anxiety and depression. It's being highly used in educational settings, schools, colleges, and etc. And it's also being used in different industries, even in the workplace. Now it's being used like a psychological intervention and tips and sort of techniques taken from it on how people can develop, how people can be motivated towards behavior change. So that was very interesting. Then the next sort of lecture was more about compassion. And we thought it was going to be literally, I think the majority of all of us trainees thought that it was going to be about how do we use compassion in therapy. It turned out to be the opposite. It's compassion for ourselves as trainees. Apparently this was a workshop that was developed by the department or the clinical psychology team, those who run the doctorate in clinical psychology at UCL, and they created or developed this workshop for both trainees in the PWP ourselves as well as trainees, trainee clinical psychologists, on how we can be more compassionate for ourselves as trainees, because we're dealing with, they're dealing with 3 years that are hectic. We're dealing with one intense year where a lot is going on. There's demands, there's things that we need to do both from a clinical work as well as academic work. And that was quite interesting. Tuesday was a regular day, triage, not much going on over there. But then Wednesday, literally, I remember 9:30 all the way up to 12 o'clock, where usually Wednesday 12 I have my supervision session with my supervisor, CMS, so clinical management supervision, or case management supervision, sorry. It was like back-to-backs, literally 9:30, 10, 11, and it was just back to back. I think I had maybe about half an hour, 15 minutes just to literally prepare myself, go and get a coffee, and just, literally, I remember even texting, like I remember even sending a message to my supervisor on Teams, like, can you give me like 5 minutes? I just need to use the loo and get back. It was just crazy. But anyway, we learned. It was busy because I had another 2 sessions later on in that afternoon. But it was good. It's good to see progression. It was good to see. This is the second time I think I had a client where we started with one particular intervention, but at the first session I could see that we needed to switch, and obviously I literally had to take that to supervision, just to express that, I think we need to kind of maybe change the intervention. And that was fortunate. So this is coming back to clinical decision making, building up and strengthening, and I could see that really does help. Choosing the right intervention, sticking to one thing and working on it and doing it well, and finding what is the best thing right now for the client. Thursday, I had, I think, a cancellation, but I had about 2 sessions roughly, but just a lot of calls in between. Friday was quite hectic, although Friday, some people, they cancelled out or they didn't attend. But yeah, I mean, it was quite, in the afternoon, it was just bang on, but managed to get through. Was looking forward to 5 p.m. Once I was done, as usual, I've got a program every Friday after work when I go meet some of my friends, and literally that's something to look forward to start that weekend. But it was a nice week. It was interesting. One lesson that I learned was on Thursday, and I was thinking of doing a shorts on this for university students. So one of my clients, she's experiencing anxiety. We're working through worry management, and she's dealing with one particular worry, and that is, fortunately, she's been accepted to 2 universities, 2 top class, well-established, highly esteemed universities in London, in the UK, and in the world. These are big, massive, major universities. She doesn't know what to choose because her heart is with one particular one, but she knows that there's another one that's, this is big. What should I do? She's stuck. So we worked on some problem solvings. We looked at some pros and cons, and then we discussed about, what are the things that she can do to kind of clarify and to help her to make that decision. Because her fear is, what if I choose the wrong university, and what if I regret my decision? So we worked on that. All right, we looked at the pros and cons. That helped. What else can we look at? So we talked about going to the campuses, going to both. Look at the campuses, speak to the the alumni, speak to the admin, or speak to any of the sort of like faculty if she can reach out and get a hold of them. Go on LinkedIn, speak to the students, those who study there at both these 2 universities. Speak to the students. If you could find alumni, whoever works there, study, particularly students, and ask them questions. You can reach out to them these days. Before it was like you had to physically attend the open days. Now the open days are now virtual. They're on Teams, or they're on Zoom, or they're on Google Meets, etc. But you can now reach out to people on LinkedIn, and you can connect to them. You can ask them questions. You can learn so much. There's so many resources that can help. And by the end of that session, she felt calmer. Her anxiety started to alleviate, reduce, and she felt like, okay, I've got a plan now. I feel like I can do things, weigh out, and then slowly, hopefully very soon, she can make her decision. So sometimes we just need to problem solve. Just take a step back, and sometimes we need help. Sometimes we can't do it ourselves. We do need help. We do need to talk with someone who can kind of give us a bit of a way to get our senses back together and to kind of see things holistically. Take a step back and look at things from a different perspective, and kind of look at the pros and cons, and then slowly make that decision. So that was a very interesting session. I was very happy that we managed to kind of like come up with some solutions. We managed to problem solve. We looked at the pros and cons, but the most important thing is that she feels that her anxiety is starting to reduce, and she's got a plan, and hopefully she'll work towards that. But yeah, looking forward to it was a nice weekend. I usually have my English breakfast on a Sunday. I take that serious because that really does calm me down. It was really nice today, to be honest, because I went to a park at Beckenham Hill. So for any of you watching and you're in London, for instance, and this is in southeast London literally, and there was a park. It's a massive park. I've been told, and I saw a video. It's a massive park. But guess what? Literally, as I'm walking, and it's like a bit hilly because you can hike there, and literally there was this sign. Like I looked at the forest, and it reminded me of a scene literally in the Lord of the Rings. I'm talking about the first Lord of the Rings, the one with what's his name, Elijah Wood. Kind of scared me for a moment, but I was like, I'm gonna go in. But there was this sign that says, literally, like, take off your headphones, listen to the birds sing, hear, and it was a bit windy today, so like, hear the nature, feel it, and like just enjoy. And I felt like, I took off my headphones. I was listening to like a little podcast or something, and I just went in, just hear, and just allow that nature to kind of like make you calm and relax. The effect nature has on our well-being is sometimes undescribable. I encourage you all to take that time, that whether it be through after working hours, or in between during the weekend, go to parks and just spend whatever amount of time you can and just switch off your internet, your mobile data, Wi-Fi, whatever, just switch it off and just take some time to be around nature, and you will see. Stay tuned to the next video.